No caravans or motorhomes permitted. With its devil little evil eyes staring at you. There's apparently a dogging hotspot, so tonight could be fun. It feels like forever since I've done a stealth camp. In fact, it feels like forever since I've done any video at all. It's been about 3 weeks since I uploaded that last one, and that is not acceptable. So tonight, I thought I'd go on a little stealth camp, and as you've probably seen by the title, I'm going to be testing out some low power heaters, so that hopefully this winter, I can carry on these videos without turning into an actual ice cube. I want to park up near the beach. I don't know where exactly yet, but I'm going to head down that way and look for a spot. I don't know what this is. The angling club. Oh no, we're actually on the beach. Well, I'm just going to check there is an actual official entrance and I'm not on someone's garden or something. I don't know if I'm on like a pavement right here or whether you're supposed to drive on this bit. I don't think you are supposed to drive on this bit, to be honest. So I'm going to spin around. This is not for cars. For some reason I'm still on it. The keys are sitting on the bench wondering why the hell I'm driving on the pavement. Right, so I've just had a little look on Street View and that was definitely not a road. But there is one, I think, just past this building. I think I was on the wrong side of the building. Look, there is a car over there. And it doesn't look official, so I'm guessing mounting the curb is a viable option. Yeah, this is alright, it's got to be a car park. There's signs at the back. No caravans or motorhomes permitted. Well, it's a good job this identifies as a micro camper then, isn't it? Looks like we've got full permission. This food is not something I've done before. It's not like a planned thing that I know I'm doing. I'm winging it. Basically, I'm gonna make a chicken and bacon sort of calzone thing in the Ridge Monkey. I guess we just roll this out, do we? And then I think the plan is I'm just gonna make one little one for now. So I'm gonna fold this over. If it works, then I can make a second one, but it's better than making one massive one and having a huge disaster in the van. I think the first disaster might be the choice of cheese, Emmental. Let's get a bit of sun-dried tomato puree with oil, herbs and spices going in. The chicken is in. The bacon is in. I reckon one more bit of pensioner feet. That can top it off. Now we've got to seal it shut. There you go, one parcel of potential disaster. I've just had a text from somebody that I know that lives around here telling me that the car park along from here is apparently a dogging hotspot. So tonight could be fun. But on the plus side, this smells good. I think, fingers crossed, I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like it could be a success. She is a beauty. Look at it go. It might be a little bit burst open. I might have to enter this into some sort of competition. It smells more like angel's slippers. Right, check it out before I probably burn the hell out of my mouth on this thing. That is the one. Now I know I always say that is the one when I cook something in here, but this is genuinely the one. I don't even know how to describe that. Imagine Jesus set up a restaurant, right? And then God came to dinner. He would write another testament to the Bible based around this. What should I call it? Greg. All right, Greg. No, not Greg. I'm going to call it the God Pocket. I'm going to finish this off and then I'm probably going to make another. In fact, I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely going to make another one. So we've got all the boats lined up just behind the van here. That is like a sailing club just there. You can already see on the side of the van that is frost starting to form. So when I first built this van, there was a tube heater that I installed up on the wall behind me, and it was an 80-watt heater, and it was okay. I mean, it got hot, but it just didn't radiate much heat. So then I was experimenting with some different heaters last year. I tried a can heater, which sits on top of the stove, and the gas just heats that up. And that's really good. It does heat the van up. It smells quite bad, so that's a downside. And then I moved to the double death bomb, which I don't know if you guys remember that episode, but we feared for our lives when we lit that thing. Becky, hold that, because we might need to use this in court. Look at it. Can't feel I'm starting to trust it.
Yeah, me too.
Good boy. I mean, don't get me wrong, that thing worked. It heated up the van in about 2 minutes with its devil little evil eyes staring at you. But when you turned it off, obviously it got cold straight away, but the metal stayed hot so you couldn't move it. And then once the van had cooled back down again, it wasn't a simple case of just being able to switch it on for another 2 minutes. There was a procedure that you had to follow. You had to open up the door to get a bit of ventilation in. You had to text your loved ones and tell them that you might never see them again. And then on top of that, you always had to bring a change of underwear in case you had a trouser accident. Which brings me to my heater experiment today. I wasn't thinking about something I can just stick on and run all night like you can with a diesel heater. And by the way, there's reasons why I don't want a diesel heater. But the electric heaters I've been looking at, the idea is that I can use it for a little bit before I go to bed, maybe in the middle of the night. I could even put it on a timer, and then a bit in the morning as well. I don't want to run it the whole night. So I bought 3 low wattage heaters that are just about usable for my situation, and over the weekend I've been testing them out, so check this out. Alright, so first up we've got this one. It's called the Dimplex Desk Friend. It's a 250 watt fan heater. So I've done a little bit of maths just to see roughly how long I could run this thing for. And on the Delta 2, I could run it non-stop for 3.5 hours. So obviously it's not going to run all night long, but it means that I could put it on for, say, an hour before bed, hour in the middle of the night, hour in the morning, and still have half an hour of battery to go. And just for comparison, if I was running it from a 100 amp hour standard leisure battery, it would run for about 2 hours. And if I was running it from a 100 amp hour lithium leisure battery, it would run for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. And that's just because with a lithium battery, you can run them down to more like 20 or 30% of their capacity without damaging them. And with a standard leisure battery, you can run them down to about 50%, that's all. So the current temperature in here is 15.4 degrees. It's only got one heat setting, but that's a thermostat, so I'm just putting it up to the max so that it doesn't cut out. It's blowing into the van, so obviously that's a good thing. It's not wasting anything by blowing out the back of the heater. But it's not hot, but that's warm. I was not expecting that. All right, so it's been half an hour, so I'm going to turn it off. I am well impressed with this so far. I mean, yeah, I've got a small van and it's well insulated, so you've got to remember that. So let's check out the temperature now, and we're at 22 degrees. Now, the Delta 2 itself is not hot. It's not like it's heated up. So that hasn't really contributed to that heat much. Obviously, my body heat would have done a little bit. But in general, that is pretty impressive for that little heater. So I've been inside my house for a couple of hours to let the van cool down. And now it is time to try this new one. This is called the Pro Breeze Mini Ceramic Heater. So this one is double the power. It's 500 watt. So the temperature is at 15.5 degrees. So it's pretty much identical as before. So this will be a good test. And the controls are basically identical as well. There's just one dial here, and that's a thermostat. It's the same power level the whole way up. But obviously at 500 watt, it's the sort of thing where you'd be able to put it on for probably like half an hour before bed, half hour in the morning, and that is it. Then you're gonna have to charge up your batteries ready for the next night. Right, half an hour is up, and we're up to 23.1 degrees. And just like with the last heater, it's cooled down pretty much straight away because it's not the sort of heater that retains heat. So really it's down to the insulation in your van as to how hot it's gonna stay in here for how long. So it is now the next day, and this next heater is a radiator. Now it says on the front of the box it's a 600 watt radiator, but what I've discovered is that this 600 watt radiator has 3 settings. On its lowest setting it's 200 watt, on the medium setting it's 400 watt, and on the maximum setting it's 600 watt. Now, in a way, this one should be a lot more efficient than the others because it's an oil-filled radiator. So when it's turned off, the oil should keep it warm and still kicking out a bit of heat. But at the same time, it might be a bit more inefficient because it's not directing the heat straight into the van. Some of it is going to be facing that curtain and some of it's going to be coming into the van. So the current temperature is 15.4 degrees. For this test, I'm just going to stick the thermostat up to full so that hopefully it doesn't tick off and we get the full heat for half an hour. And then I'm just going to put on the first setting at 200 watts. I don't know how long it's going to take to heat up, but I'll let you know that before I get on with the half an hour. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes and the bottom of it is really hot, too hot to touch. The middle of it, I can just about touch, and the top, I can easily touch. So it hasn't warmed all the way through, but I don't know if it's going to on this 200 watt setting. It's so far not a lot of difference in the temperature, but we'll give it the extra 20 and I will let you know the results. Right, let's turn this off. The half an hour is up. So the temperature is now showing as 17.6 degrees. It is a lot hotter now, like the whole thing, so it took a long time for it to fully heat up. So I think it's going to take more like an hour for this one to get up to the same temperature as the other ones were getting up to yesterday. So personally, I'd rather have that 250 watt fan heater blasting out for half an hour than to keep this thing on for about an hour. I'm back. I've been in the house letting things cool down. So we're going to try the 400 watt mode. The current temperature is 15.6 degrees. So again, the thermostat is up full and we're sticking this on to mode number 2, 400 watts. All right, so it's been half an hour. The temperature is up to 18.3 degrees. But on this 400 watt mode, this thing is hot. So although the fan heaters took the van to a higher temperature yesterday, even the 250 watt one, this definitely radiates heat for a lot longer. So in conclusion, those radiators take about 25 minutes or so to cool down. And during that time, they're still radiating a bit of heat, and the van actually went up by another 1 degree during that time. So in a way, that's a bit of free energy, but at the same time, it doesn't match the heat output that I got from the fan heaters. And out of those fan heaters, I can't possibly pick the 500 watt one because it raised the van temperature by just 1 degree, and for double the amount of power, I just don't think that's worthwhile. So for me, this little heater here, the 250 watt Dimplex, is a game changer. It raised the temperature by 6.6 degrees in half an hour, and it took just 14% of my battery. So I can run that multiple times throughout the night, and then I can just recharge my battery the next morning. Now, there will be links below to all of those heaters, but before you just go out and get one of these, do take into consideration the size of your van. Like, this one's real small, so it's easier to heat up. It's well insulated, so it's easier to keep the heat in. And I've got quite a bit of battery power in here, so you need to make sure that you've got enough too. I think this is the first time that I'm sleeping so close to the sea that I can hear it. I mean, I've slept on that beach the other day in the last video, but we were so far from the sea. The beach was massive, so we couldn't hear the waves at all. Yeah, I thought I'd get out and stretch my legs a little bit before I went to bed. It's certainly starting to get a bit cold out here, so I think I'm going to jump back in the van, set up the projector, get the heater ready to go, and shortly I'll be getting some sleep. Hopefully in the morning we're going to have a nice view out the back doors. To get off, isn't it? Jesus. I've just got to find someone who might be able to take it. Good morning, people. This heater is a game changer. Now, I can't vouch for it in the middle of winter. It's the end of October at the moment, but for right now, it is perfect. I had it on for about half an hour before bed. I was watching YouTube without it on, and it was starting to get cold, and I had all my clothes on. So I put it on for half an hour before bed. I was able to sleep in, not that you need to know this, my boxers and a t-shirt, nothing else. Obviously I got a thick duvet, but it was warm all night. And then I woke up this morning, put it on for another 20 minutes. And at the moment, we're at 22 degrees. I've decided something recently. Doing things like this make me happy, right? And I don't really find the time to do it often enough. So I've made the decision that I'm going to cut down my work hours to pretty much nothing so that I can start concentrating full time on this channel. Now, this channel isn't really big enough at this stage to warrant doing that, but you got to take risks in life sometimes, right? So from now on, I'm going to be putting a lot of time and effort into this channel and hopefully getting out videos a lot more regularly than I have been. And I'm going to try doing this for a couple of months to see how I get on financially and things like that. And if it works out, then next year I can remain doing it full time. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and a massive shout out as always to absolutely everybody who's donated to the channel and bought me a brain cell. I can't express how grateful I am. I really do appreciate it so much. So thank you, all of you guys. I'm gonna go and buy some toothpaste because I've run out, and then I'm gonna get back and start editing this video. I don't even know what the day is today, but whatever it is, I hope you have a good one and stay tuned for the next episode.